first OGT worksheets I passed out to some of you. And I'm just going to run through them real quick, make sure, give you some ideas on how to do each problem. Karen received $5 for her birthday. She wants to go out for ice cream with 3 friends. She wants to split the money equally with her and her friends. How much can each spend? So she's got the $5. There's 3 friends and herself. So that means there's 4 of them. Divide 5 by 4. Get 1. Take the decimal straight up. 4 will go into 10 twice. 8. 4 will go into 25 times. Subtract to get 0. So it ends up being $1.25 that each one of them will be able to spend. Subtracting with fractions, first thing I do, write them up and down whenever you're adding or subtracting with fractions, because you have to find a common denominator. In this case, the common denominator is 16. 16 times 1 just gives you 16. 3 times 1 is 3, so that one doesn't change. This one you multiply by 2. 8 times 2 is 16. And then 5 times 2 is 10. Then we subtract, and you get 7 over 16. That's right there. At 3 different stores, ties are 40% off, half off, and a quarter off. Which of the following list the discount rates from smallest to largest? So the first thing we need to do is change all of them into the same form so we can compare them. It's probably easiest to change them all into decimal form. 40% as a decimal, you just bump the decimal over 2 places, is 0.40. 1/2 as a decimal is 0.5. 1/4 as a decimal is 0.25. If it helps you to put that 0 on the end of that 5 there, then you can tell which ones, compare them a little easier. And they want them from smallest to largest. Well, this one here is the smallest one, so that's first. This one's next smallest, that's second. This one's the biggest, that's the third one. So we'll go back and put them in the original form. That was 1/4. This was 40%. And then the 0.50 was 1/2. So that's that one right there. Which of the following is a correct statement? Remember on this one, when the farther you go down in the negatives, the smaller the number gets. So this one's not right because that is farther from 0. This here is farther from 0. On this one, this says greater than. Negative numbers are never bigger than positive numbers. This one has to be correct because a positive is always bigger than a negative. This one can't be correct because, again, it says a positive is smaller than a negative. So it has to be C. Which of the following numbers is greater than 44.06 but less than 44.07? You can maybe write it this way, it might help. And you want a number that's in between there. You might even add a 0 to the end of each of those so you can compare them a little better. So you're going from 44.060, 44.070. Well, that one right there is going to be in between those two. The groundskeeper at Midtown High wants the ratio of azalea bushes to rose bushes in the front of the building to be 3:1. If a total of 24 bushes are to be planted, how many of them will be rose bushes? A couple different ways you could do this. Whenever you see something like this, you could put a variable with each one of them and set them equal to the total. So it'd be like 3x plus 1x equals 24. The other way you could do it is set up a proportion. Now, if you're setting up a proportion, you have to be careful because it's not going to be 3:1. It's 3 azalea bushes compared to 1 rose bush, and you're trying to figure out the rose bushes. So you want that 1 rose bush to be on top here, but you want the total to be on bottom. Well, there's a total of 4 bushes, 3 plus 1 there. So you want that to be on bottom because the 24 is the total bushes. Then you could put x there and you could cross multiply and solve that. You could come back over here and solve this where x stands for the number of rose bushes. That's 24 divided by 4. X equals 6. So 6 rose bushes if we go over here. Do the same thing. That's 24 equals 4x. Divide by 4. You end up with x equals 6 either way. So 6 rose bushes. Now be careful if they ask you to find azalea bushes, then there's 3 times as many, so you'd have to take that number and go back and multiply by 3. Next one, if we take this and we change this question mark into an x, we cross multiply, you end up with 6x equals 15 times 20, which is 300. Divide by 6, x equals 50. That's that answer right there. Ms. Hernandez, the principal at Harding High, is arranging bus transportation for a 9th grade field trip. 9th grade homerooms and enrollments are given below. If each bus can hold 55 people, how many buses will be needed to transport students and teachers? First thing we do is add all these up, add all the students up. You get 8, 14, 15, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So there's 120 students. Don't forget all the people together. So we got to add in the teachers. There's 5 teachers. Gives you a total of 125 people. Take that, divide by 55. 2, it's 110. 15 left over. Well, you need 2 buses, but you still got 15 people left over, so you got to put them somewhere. So you're actually going to need one more bus. So that's a total of 3 buses. Doug bought a package of 8 school folders for $11.65. How much did each folder cost? Round your answer to nearest cent. So we got $11.65 inside the box, 8 on the outside. The decimal's outside, so you take your decimal straight up. 8 will go in the 11 once. 8, subtract, you get 36. 8 will go in 36 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. Subtract again, you get 45. 8 will go into 45 5 times. Subtract again, you get 5 left over. Now don't just stop there, add another 0 and bring it down, because we want to round it to the nearest cent. So we need to know what that next number is. 8 will go into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. And we don't have to go any farther than that. That 6 tells us to round that 5 up. So it's going to be $1.46 is what he averaged paying for each folder. Wendy borrowed $1,200 for a year and paid $216 in interest. What is her yearly rate of interest? All you're going to do here, put the 216, the amount she paid in interest, on top. Put the amount she borrowed on bottom. It's always, the formula is actually interest equals rate times time. And all we're doing here with this formula is times principal. Sorry, I forgot. Rate times time times principal. And what we're going to do here, it's 1 year, so that's just 1. We really don't have to worry about that. We divide both sides by the principal. Well, the principal is the amount that you borrowed, so you're just taking the interest divided by the principal. We divide that out. 216 goes inside, the 1200 goes out. You got to add some zeros on here. I'm just going to add a bunch out through there. We probably won't need them all. 1200 won't go into 216. It'll go into 2160 once. It's 1200. Subtract. Borrow from here. Bring down next zero. Go into that 8 times. That ends up being 9600. Subtract to get 0, so you didn't need all these zeros. So you got 0.18, but you got to change that to a decimal by bumping the decimal, or to a percent by bumping the decimal over 2 places. So 18%. Charmaine sold chocolate cookies at a school bake sale for 25 cents a piece. Near the end of the day, she put up signs saying 20% discount on cookies. A couple different ways you could do this. you could just take 20% or 0.2 times 0.25, the 25 cents she was charging for each one. This is going to tell you the amount off. So 0.20 times 0.25, we get 0, 10, 0, 0, 4. Add that all up. 2 decimals here, 2 decimals there, so we bump it over 4 places. You get 0.05. Well, that's how much she took off. That's 20% off. So we have to go back and subtract that from the 0.05. And she was selling the cookies for 20 cents a piece at the end of the day. The manufacturer rejects 4% of the items it makes because of defects. If the manufacturer has 275 items before the inspection, how many good items will remain after the inspection? A couple different ways you could set this up. It's 4%, so it's 4 out of 100. Percentage is always out of 100. X out of 275. This is going to tell you how many bad items there are. If you wanted to do the good items so that you didn't have to subtract at the end, then you would just set it up that out of 100, if 4 of them's bad, 96 out of 100 are going to be good, and you could set it up that way. I'm going to actually do this one over here because I can do this multiplication in my head and then subtract. 4 times 275 is 1100. 100 times x is 100x. Divide both sides by 100. Whenever you divide by 100, you can just take away these 2 zeros, so you end up with x equals 11. That means there was 11 bad items. Then we just go back and take the 275 minus the 11, and you get 264. We're good. Jerry wants to buy 4 pounds of apples for cooking. If each apple weighs about 7 ounces, about how many apples will Jerry need? First thing you got to know is that 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So if he wants 4 pounds, you just take that 4 times the 16, get 64 ounces is how many he needs. Then take 64 ounces, divide by 7. 7 again, 64, 9, that's 63 with 1 left over, so he'll need like 9 or 10 apples. And they got 9 here, so that's what we'll put. The next one, sun rose at 5:53 and went down 5:53 a.m., went down 7:09 p.m. First thing I would do here, this is let's go from 5:53 a.m. to 5:53 p.m. That's always 12 hours. Going from a.m., p.m. same time. Then from 5:53 p.m. to 7:09 p.m. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put, say, all right, from 6 to 7 is 1 hour, so I'm going to add 1 hour onto that. Well, I wasn't actually at 6. There's 7 extra minutes there. And I wasn't actually at 7. There's 9 extra minutes there. 7 plus 9 is 16. So you got plus another 16 minutes. So we're at 13 hours, 16 minutes, which is right here, letter C. Jay saved his coins for a month and counted them up, and he had all this. How much money does he have? What I would do is just figure out each one. For this first one, 4 quarters would be $1, 8 quarters would be $2, 12 quarters would be $3. But then you still have a quarter left over, so in quarters he's got $3.25, and dimes, they're each worth 10 cents, so he's got 80 cents there. Nickels, he's got 4 of them, so there's 20 cents there. Pennies, he's got 9, so 9 cents there. You add all those up, 14, that's 10, 11, 12, 13, carry the 1, 434, right there. Phys ed class, and was tested to see how far she could throw a softball. She warmed up then was given 3 throws. The results are shown. What is the total distance in yards of the 3 throws? First thing I'm going to do is add all these up. 17, 9 plus 8 is 17, plus 5 is 22. 2 plus 9 is 11. Carry the 1. It's 312, but that's 312 feet. They want it in yards. Well, you have to know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. So you take 312 and divide by 3. 3 will go into 3 once. Subtract. 3 won't go into 1, so you put a 0 up there. Bring down the next number. 3 will go into 12 4 times. Subtract, comes out even. So it comes out to be 104 yards. Angie is 5'2". Her dad's a foot taller than her. How tall is Angie's father in inches? Well, if she's 5'2", then that means he's 6'2". 6'2" inches. Well, then you need to know that 1 foot equals 12 inches. Take 6 times the 12, get 72 inches. But then you got to add on the 2 inches. So you get a total of 74 inches. Which of the following weights is the greatest? Got to know that 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. So if 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, this one's going to be 2,000 plus 400, that's 2,400 pounds. This one's 1,400 pounds, so I already know that it's not the biggest. 1 1/4, you just take 1/4 times the 2,000, or what is 1/4 of 2,000, and that's going to be 500, so it's going to be 2,000 plus the 500, which is 2,500 pounds. Here, you got this 1 ton is 2,000. Then you got the 0.4, where you just take 0.4 times the 2,000. Get 0,008. Decimal moves over 1 place, so it's 800 pounds. Gives you a total of 2,800. So that one's the biggest. Letter B. A time period of 154 minutes is also, take 154 divided by, you should know 1 hour is 60 minutes. Get 2 of those in there. That should be 54, not 50. Leaves you with 34 minutes, so you got 2 hours, 34 minutes. We look over here, 2 hours, 34 minutes. For science class, Molly is determining the growth rate of a plant. She measures the plant once each week. Pictures below show the height of the plant at the 2 times. How much did the plant grow from time 1 to time 2? This is in centimeters. Make sure you look there to see what the units are you're using. That means each one of these little marks is a millimeter, or a 0.1 of a centimeter. So if we look here, this says 13.2 centimeters. This one over here says 14.9 centimeters. And to find the difference, how much it grew, we just subtract those 2. You get 1.7 centimeters, which is right there.